Welcome to our Preston Innovations Whiteacres Festival vlog. Myself, Rob Swan, and in-form Brad Lucas head down to Cornwall for the Preston Innovations Festival. Now, this is one of the most prestigious festivals down at Whiteacres. It's been running for years, and of course, it is followed by the Parkdean Masters final. We took GoPros with us each day, recording live match footage to give you guys a little taster from each and every day of the festival. Good, bad or ugly, we talk through our day at the end of the session, give you the rundown, how we caught, what we did well and what we didn't do well. So if that sounds like a bit of you, if you want a bit of a taste of what goes on down at Whiteacres, you're going to love this video, so keep on watching. Right, Brad, we're down at Whiteacres this week. We thought we'd do a little vlog. What festival are we on?
We are on the Preston Festival, which is the second festival on the bounce here.
You had a very good week last week, mate.
I did.
Managed to win the festival, so
Yeah,
massive
brilliant.
congratulations. We're going to do a little video talking about that soon. But yeah, we're going to stick a few GoPros behind us this week. We've drawn our pegs today, so you're able to watch how it goes down all week. Where you at?
I've drawn one of the best pegs in Cornwall
Rocket
today.
ship for Brad to start with.
17 on Twin Oaks, which is
Yeah.
on the front Twin Oaks. I've only been here twice, but I've always wanted to go on them because they do look awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the better areas of the lake, but you've got some stiff competition in your section as always down here, so I'm sure you'll be fighting it out. Loads of carp in that area as well, which is good. I've drawn 11 on Trelawney. I think it's all right, middle of the lake.
Smaller sections, so you've
Small-
got less
small
to compete in
sections,
this week, so you can
yeah.
see more, can't you?
Alex Hume on peg 14 and
It's probably the better one into it. It's probably the better peg in the
Sam
section.
Powell on peg 10 next to me. So we're going to be giving it our best shot. We're going to get to our pegs now. Wish us luck, and we'll see you on the bank. Right, day one, Brad. Preston Festival. That's it. Done and dusted. It's absolutely tipping down outside, so
Can you hear it? It's awful.
yeah.
Luckily, it wasn't quite as bad as this all day.
No,
But it did start a little bit towards the end, didn't it?
It did, yeah. It was dry all day for me, anyways. You were down on Twin Oaks. It was dry, and then 10 minutes before the all out, started hammering it down.
Happens every time. All the time. It's always when you're packing your gear.
I know, mate.
But no, I've had a lovely day.
Yeah, talk us through your day.
So
Then
I
I'll
was
do
on
mine.
17 on Twin Oaks, like we said this morning. Brilliant peg. If you do know it, it's like an L shape almost, but a very little straight here. So I'm on like the bend facing the wrong side of the lake, so the lake's going down here. And 15 and 17 are on the point, so they're two really good pegs because you get the most amount of water.
Yeah.
So I've been on 17, and I've had a lovely day, to be honest. To be honest, I was expecting it to fish a bit better. It's been fishing well, obviously. I was on it last week, and I heard of the weights. So I felt like I was fishing for like 120, 150 sort of day. It was a really nice day. A lot more carp round that bend, bigger things as well, so maybe not as many bites.
Yeah.
But I've had a real chop and change match. It's not gone how I thought it'd be, but hopefully when I talk through in a minute, you'll see how I've done it. But I've started on chucking a rod, a bomb and bread. Started on that for like 15 minutes, chucked it a few times, all in little gaps. Unfortunately, I've not had one. I thought I'd have a really quick bite on that, but I've not had one on that. Changed the bomb and meat, another 10 minutes, and it's not gone round. 15's had a couple on a method feeder, so maybe I should have sat more patient and sat over bait across.
What have you done? Just chucked it tight across?
Yeah, just chucked it like a foot off, try and find like
Little reeds.
Yeah, before when you're clipping up, try and see what depth it is, but a little bit off. There's like bushes that come out. What are they called?
Pampas.
Pampers, apparently they're called. Yeah.
Pampases?
So they come out a little
Tina
bit into the
Turners.
lake. Yeah. So like foot off them, so you're probably a metre and a half
They'll be
off the bank.
undercut, won't they? They all
Yeah.
live under the banks.
So that's where you normally catch, but I've not had one. And then I've dropped in short after probably 25 minutes. And again, I've not had a bite for 20 minutes. I think I fouled up to carp straight away, but that was like mid-depth, so I went to relay it, I think. But I had no liners other than that. And then I thought, right, I'm going to have to start feeding some bait. So halfway through my meat line before I come off it, so probably 40 minutes in, I'm pinging some pellets long at 40 metres, but every line I've fished it to my left, because that's where the fish are.
Yeah.
The fish live on 15, 16, but the reason why 17 is so good is because 16 is never in, so you always catch the 16.
Yeah.
So I fished my short line, top 6 to my left, and then I've just fished pellets long to my left as well, and I've started pinging on that, I've dropped in on that, and I've caught steady, to be honest. I've had a few very quick fish on everything I've done, so I've dropped in on the deck, I've had a couple of quick fish. come off bottom limbs, dropped on a jigger, I've had 2 straight away, and I've dropped underneath and just ticked over underneath. Kept dropping in short on me. Just to be fair, most times I would get one eventually.
Yeah, after you rested
so
it.
It was slow, but at least I was ticking over and getting bites. And then from then on, it's pretty much been a meat short and pellet long approach. I have chucked a bomb method a few times, but it's never gone round all day. Fed the edge, one come in, but I've never bothered with it because I was catching. An hour to go, I've had a great run. With an hour to go, I've had a 30-minute spell where I've had like 6 fish of 40 odd pound.
Yeah, but you caught them long or short?
I've had 2 short, 2 long, and then 2 short again. Just keep rotating it. So it was never solid. It was just perfect timing, I guess you could say.
Nick a fish here and there.
Yeah, but a lovely day. £105 was enough to win the section.
Yes.
So the festival's all about section wins. So a brilliant start.
Mega start, mate.
Only 6-man sections this week, but section win to start the week's brilliant. And second in the whole soup pools, which is my whole rotation, which helps pay for the curry tonight. But Rob, how was your day?
It was good, but before I talk about mine, I've got a couple of questions I want to ask you.
Go on then.
On your long line, what do you fish pellets? Do you fish 4 mils or 6s?
4 mil pellets, 6 on a hook.
6 on the band.
And then fish 4x14 floats, both short and long.
Have you? Nice.
1.7 mil bristle.
Just a bulk and 1?
Nice. Yeah, bulk and 2 on me short line, and then just a strung taper of number 9s on me. Not a taper, we went through this.
Yeah.
A strung shotting pattern of number 9s on me pellet line.
Right,
I like to just flick it past. So when I flick it past, when it falls, everything's tight in a line, but a little bit of a curve as well.
And what have you done? Just catted a few and potted a few?
Started potting a few and then catting a few, and then eventually I just took the pot off.
Yeah, just
hoping to catch shallow.
Shallow.
Because you were on there once and you said you caught well shallow. I knew a few lads did.
I was on there last year and I caught shallow.
Exactly, so I tried forcing it with shallow, but I soon went, there was no point. They're bigger than I thought they were. There's a lot more carp in there. I think I've only had like 2 F1s all day.
Mainly carp.
Yeah, so when I knew that, I was like, just like feed, sit on it, get indication or miss a bite on, then feed again. It was nice. It was a nice day.
Well, there you go.
But yeah.
Fantastic. Right, I'll pass the camera around
Go
to
on
you then, and we'll talk about my day.
Talk us through your day.
So, I've been on peg 11 on Trelawney, which, to be fair, I fancied because you're in that sort of bit on the lake where it widens up. It's dead, I wouldn't say narrow, but it's definitely a lot wider in that bit of Trelawney, so I fancied it. The only thing is on there, it's still quite shallow. If you all the way up to like peg 1 to, I'd say peg 7. I don't know the lake very well, but I think it's like 3.5 to 4 foot deep there. And then as you come into the bowl, it goes dead deep. Where Alex
it's not even that. It's like 3.5 foot in the first few
Yes, and then it's a lot deeper in the bowl. So I thought that could be an issue, but I sort of just cracked on. I set up meat short. I set up pellets long at 30.5 metres, but the wind was terrible early. I was having to cling on to my pole for dear life. I've actually set up me bump bar as well, just in case. And I set up maggots long to my left on the bottom. I wanted to cover my options, really, because maggots was quite good for some people last week. So I set maggots long up, and to be fair, the wind was like coming sort of right to left, but if I swung my pole around all the way to my left and I fished it in towards the bowl, it kind of like was easy to hold, so fished it out of the way so I could fish both lines, really. I set up ground bait and worms on the hook to the next pallet. It was about 2 foot 4 inches, I'd say, to the next pallet. I thought that'd be quite nice.
That's not bad, yeah, that's quite nice, definitely.
Yeah, I thought they would come in there. So yeah, I just covered my options first day. I knew it was going to be tough. It was hard on there all last week. Like 30 to 60 pound was good weights, to be fair. I did set up a bomb and a method. I didn't chuck it though, but probably should have. Looking back in hindsight, maybe a bit of time spent on a bomb along the far side, but it felt like I needed to be moving through my lines all day. I felt like if I'd come off a line, I wouldn't be able to keep track of what was going on, because no one was catching. So I just wanted to keep putting fish in the net, and basically started short on meat, and I tapped like 4 bits in, nothing. Come back another 2 or 3 bits. Eventually I had an F1 about £2. Thought that's quite a nice start. No one was catching anything. It was rock hard. I was pinging a few like 5 or 6 pellets long, just dead steady to start with. I was hoping to catch some Carassios on my long pole line. Started short for a bit longer. Stayed there for about half an hour, and I think I had one more F1 about £1. And I thought it was doing all right in the section, to be fair. And I thought if I'm only fishing for 40 odd pound, it's not a bad start. And as soon as I went on my long pole line, I had like 5 Carassios in 5 chucks as fast as I could get in, basically. And I thought, fantastic, I'll just sit here, catch some Carassios, similar to the day you had, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly.
When you were on that lake, you caught loads of Carassios.
Loads of Carassios. They're weird, aren't they, how they feed, but...
Yeah, they're strange. They fall off you. There's a few fell off on the way back, so I won't say much about them. I was effing and jeffing at them ones. So yeah, I dropped it on pellets, had a few, and then it went a bit iffy, and it was just, that was the sort of tail of the day, really. Catch a few fish. After about an hour, don't know what I'd got, probably got like £10 maybe. And then I potted some maggots on my left-hand line. I just wanted to see how the pellets were first. I didn't want to start potting bait everywhere in case it was like rock hard or something, but I had a few bites of rock. I'll pop like 75 of maggots out the way, leave that, try and catch what I can on pellets. That slowed, and then for the next sort of hour and a half middle part of the match, I just sort of went on pellets, catch one maybe, little Carassios, go on maggots, catch an F1, then you catch roach, so I'd put some more bait in, come off it, go on pellets, and I just knocked between the two lines, hoping for an arrival at some point. Short never came good. I spent, probably a good part of half an hour, 40 minutes there, the rest of the match, and I didn't have another F1, and the lads...
strange, isn't
I know,
it?
very
It's
strange.
really good, especially in that wider part.
Definitely, that's why I
Normally
expected to
quite
catch
good.
them short late, because it is good there normally, but where it's been a bit deeper, where Alex and Wayne Keeney's been, they've caught short quite well, to be honest, and maybe they just want to be in a little bit deeper water. I put some ground bait to the next pallet, had a carp and an F1 on that, literally just 2 bites out the blue. And then with 2 hours to go, I've done all this, I've skipped around me timings here, but with 2 hours to go, basically, I started firing casters long, because I thought, I've got to try and make something happen. Nathan Watson, on peg 23, basically fished casters shallow back-to-back all day, and it got to about 2 hours to go, and he had a mega run on it, and I thought, right, now's the time to do it. That's when they give me the best chance of catching. Fed it, went on maggots, got one maybe, dropped in short, didn't get anything. Eventually, had a little look on it with like 90 minutes to go, had one big F1, come back off it, went down the edge. I had a few looks and it had like 2 F1s, but they were big, they were massive to be fair, so I suppose it was worth doing. I've had 2 F1s, probably £6, and 2 Carassios, but I never had that mega run. I know, speaking to like Andy Bennett and stuff, they've told me on there, sometimes you can just go in and just clatter them shallow on casters. I think in hindsight, it was probably a bit too shallow to get a good run on it, only being 4 foot deep. I know Wayne's had a few shallow, it's a lot deeper where he is on that peg 16. And that was my day, really. Last half an hour, I've not had a bite. Basically caught a few on maggots long, a few on pellets long, a few short.
Bit of everything, a very rotating match.
Very ticky over match, trying to put anything in the net and hoped, really, for a run late. I've ended up with £36, so a very tough day, but that's actually been second in the
Loads
section.
of bites, so really, isn't it?
Yeah, I have had a few
it's not
bites,
actually
to be
that
fair.
bad.
I have had a few bites, an odd skimmer, an odd little roach and stuff. Just tried to not blow out, basically, first day, and I've come second with £36.
That's more than good, is
which I'm happy enough with that. It would have been nice to get off to the start with a win, but looking back, I'm not sure if I could have caught £60. Hey up, Matt's here.
Look, campmate's here now, look.
Yes, but second in the section, I'll take that. Hope for a flyer tomorrow on Python, I think I'm going on.
I think so, yeah. We're not too sure yet.
Yeah, so
We'll
fantastic.
check up in the morning, won't we?
See where we draw in the morning. We'll do another video then. We're going to go for a curry now, aren't we?
We are, because Matty's ready and he's telling us off. Look.
Dad's ready. Right, come on. We'll see you
tomorrow. See you later. This doesn't look right, Rob.
What's up?
Probably is right, I'm just a faff. I feel like I'm damaging my line every time. It looks nicked. It is nicked.
We have to start again.
Probably isn't nicked, but it just looks it.
This is what goes on in an evening. I've got you in 4K, mate.
This is a joke, mate.
I'm teaching him how to tie hooks.
Because, believe it or not, right, everything by hand, and it takes me too much time, and I don't have that much time.
Yeah, we've got no gear, so basically I've got Brad on the old... Where's the tool gone?
This is a joke. This thing. Tie everything by hand.
I tie all mine like this. He ties them by hand, and he needs to tie hooks, and he can't face doing it by hand, so I'm trying to teach him.
Tried it years ago, and I've never been able to do it.
He's had about... How many attempts you had now? 8?
Probably about 100, but yeah, about 3 or 4.
And you've got 0 hooks in your hook box.
What do you reckon? No.
No, that's definite bin that, mate. Start again. If you enjoy live matches as much as I do, then you're going to absolutely love the Catch More Media channel members area. There's over 24 live matches on there now, and there'll be more coming every single month with the likes of Christian Jones, John Holloway and Brad Lucas, 3 very informed young anglers at the moment. There's loads of other anglers featured on there too. If you want to see Under Pressure, see how they actually perform with the cameras on them, then you're going to love it. So go and check it out. It's under a £5 a month. It's a no-brainer, really. You'll take your fishing to the next level, see how they actually perform. Good and bad. There's lots of wins, but also a lot of hard matches on there, so you can see how they actually get on and how they deal with tough situations on the bank. So go and check it out. Click join on the Catch More Media homepage. It's dead easy. Do it from a laptop or desktop. Can't do it from your phone for some reason. That's YouTube's problem at the moment. Click join. Put your details in. It's £5 a month. Endless possibilities. You can get access to every single bit of content that's on there already. loads of live streams, loads of live matches, and loads of in-depth masterclasses. So go and check it out. You won't regret it. See you over there. Right, second day of the Preston Festival. I'm waiting around for Brad as usual. He's just loading his van. Draws out. I've drawn peg 6 on Python. I don't think it's great, but it's fairly fair, that lake. I'm in with the end peg 2, which might be hard to beat. I've got Callum Dix next to me as well, so there'll be definite battle there. I don't know. It's not where I want it to be. I want it to be on an end, but...
No, it's not where you want to be, but you have got a fairish section.
Yeah, there's fish all over. The ends didn't dominate yesterday, other than my section, so it could all change today. Yeah. We'll give it a go. I think I'm just going to fish ground bait across for some carp, hopefully, some pellets for Carassios, maybe some meat short, maybe something in the edge. I need to have a look at my peg, see what it's saying.
Yeah, them Carassios seem to be important to catch on them.
Yeah, lots of small Carassios. We'll have a go.
Like £50, aren't you? 40 maybe. So.
Yeah, 40, £50 would be nice. Yourself, have you drew?
I've drawn 17 on Trelawney. It's actually my favourite lake, to be honest.
Good bit of the lake, that. It was best yesterday.
The wind's been going up. It's like on the back straight, so the wind doesn't sort of come there, but it does blow round to it. It is a good area, but this week, because of the 6-peg section, mine starts at 16, 17, 19, 20, 22, 23, and 23 is the point, and it's a really good peg that to beat. But yesterday wasn't amazing. Today. Wayne did win the section off my peg, or the one to my right.
I think you might have been on 16, Wayne.
Yeah, it might have been on 16.
17 wasn't drew yesterday.
So he did have a lot more room than usual. It does make a big difference. But he won it by quite a bit as well, so maybe he would have still won. Yeah. He does think he would have, so there's definitely some fish there. I've got a good angle on my left on the end peg you won yesterday. Ben Sutter, he's been catching a few, so you'll have a battle on your hands, lad. So, but he's always going to be like that, so fingers crossed for them both to the damage. We've both drew fair, good sections.
Yeah, fair sections.
Rob's on a bit of an iffy one, but
yeah, we'll give it a go.
They're both fair, so fingers crossed we can both come back with a win today.
Let's try it, let's go. White Acres Day 2, Brad.
Here we are.
We're doing some chefing. You're doing some chefing.
I'm doing some chefing.
You're doing some cooking.
Doesn't look great though, we ain't got much in. But
it looks very sad, to be honest. We've got some pasta, some bacon, and cheese and butter.
The weather's pretty grim, so we thought we can't be bothered going out.
No, we couldn't be out going out.
As you can see, it's raining still.
Absolutely drenched today, haven't we, Matt?
I must say, it must be one of the worst days I've fished in that.
Yeah,
me
too.
Bad.
Really
that
bad.
Was really bad.
Everything was soaked. But we've both had a good day today, haven't we?
Brilliant day again.
Someone actually forgot his GoPro today, didn't they?
No. The guy that was setting it all up, Rob, actually forgot it. He never passed me it, so he's trying to blame it on me.
Yeah, it's kind of my fault. I didn't give him the GoPro.
It's not my job, but so, maybe it is.
There's no footage from Brad, but I did manage to set it up behind myself, even though it is a bit of a dodgy angle. It was a bit of a rush job today, I must say.
We still weren't ready. We get 3 hours to set up, folks, and he still wasn't ready.
I know. Right, your day, Brad. Where have you been? Talk us through it.
I've been on 17 on Trelawney.
Yeah.
It's a good area, the lake, to be honest. Really good lake. Probably one of my favourite lake at White Acres, like I mentioned this morning. Wayne Kearney won the lake off 16 yesterday, but my peg wasn't drawn for some reason.
Yeah, so a bit more space.
Yeah, maybe that'll come into it or maybe not, but there's definitely some fish there. My section's from 16 rounds 23, 23 and 22 on the point, which tend to be a lot wider and it tends to hold a lot more better fish. But nevertheless, I've had a great day.
Excuses out of the way.
Excuses out of the way. Don't need him, but I've got to get him in there.
You got to get him in.
I've had a lovely day, very slow start. It's a bit harder than I thought, but obviously it's been windy as well as rain, so you've not been able to present nice light rigs, which is obviously key for F1s. But I've ended up changing throughout the day, getting new rigs out all the time, and eventually settled on a few things. That's meat short on 2 lines, one at like a top kit +1. I've had to come closer. I've started at top 5, but it's just really silty. I couldn't believe it. And they just pimp like mad, and they can't find your bait, I don't think. So I've kept coming sections back, eventually settled, fishing off the 4x14s and 4x16s in the deeper water. Top gear +1s in front of me to my right, and then down the slope at 5 sections, just up from the silt, again on meat. And I've settled on that for most of the start of the match, say first 3 hours. And then eventually I started feeding some casters long. I fed it all day, kept dropping on it, but I never properly fed it because I knew it wasn't happening. And I've seen Craig Edmonds catch them shallow, so started feeding it a bit more aggressive whilst I've sat short and right so I can feed. I've had a couple on that, just got to like £30, say, I'm maybe not quite £30, but a bonus £6 carp as well early on. But a slow first 3.5 hours probably. And then I've been starting to feed it aggressively, kept dropping in, nothing happened. And then I've had like 40 minutes of not a bite until I've gone shallow, and eventually I've rocked up and I've had like £22, £23. Last 50 minutes. Didn't feel like a caught, but
they're
like
massive,
2 direct big massive things. So yeah, just ticking over on a jigger. on casters shallow. I couldn't fish across. I've set up 60 metres on pellets to the island. I'm about a metre and a bit off the island, but it was nice depth, like 3.5 foot. But I've not been able to fish it because that wind's been horrendous.
So where have you ended up then?
I've had £51, and that has been third on the lake, but most importantly won the section. And so I'm on
again.
2 wins.
Very nice.
Days.
There's only 5 anglers. How's that burger look?
That's looking pretty burnt to me.
Yeah. Should we pause the bacon while we finish this next bit?
Shall I move the bacon over there?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll move it there, that'll do.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, so won your section. There's only 5 other anglers on 2 wins after 2 days.
Yes, there's only 5 anglers, which is weird. How have you got on, Rob? Shall I hold it?
You hold it.
Want me to hold it?
Yeah, you hold it.
I'll get these out somewhere. Put them there.
We've got all sorts going on.
Multitasking.
Yeah, trying to burn the whole burn.
Burn everything. Yeah. Right, here we go then.
Right, I'll stand here next
Come
to
on
the
then.
bacon. So my day, I've been on Python Peg 6. This morning, I wasn't too sure really. I know it's quite fair, that lake, other than the ends which can dominate, but I've been on there a few times now, and different areas of the lake seem to throw up all the time, so I don't think you need to get your head down about any pegs, like, too much. Spoke to Harry Bignell yesterday. He gave me some very good information. He caught on pellets on the long pole, well, 13 metres up and down. He's caught loads of Crassios. I thought, great. Set up pellets up and down long. I set up pellets short because I felt like if them Crassios feed, I could just rest the long shallow line, drop in short, and then I set up across to the island. There's loads of carp in Python, like, and there's some good ones as well, like 4 to sort of £8. They tend to feed in the shallow water, like 18 inches, 2 foot across to the island, sometimes down your edge as well. So I knew that would be a sort of a winning attack if they wanted to feed. And then I set up my left edge with micros and meat, because last time I was on there that was really good. So start of the day, shipped across to the island. I thought I'd start to the island, just have a cheeky chuck over there with I put a large gherkin to put some ground bait in, just to see if anything would come in, catch a quick carp, try and get ahead of the game sort of thing. A couple of quick carp in the net at the start of the match would be massive for there, because I knew I was only going to be fishing for like 40, maybe £50 at a push.
It's been like that all week, hasn't it?
Yeah,
30 to £50 would be mega.
Yeah, it has, to be fair. So I knew I'll set my target like £40 realistically. I felt like the end was going to be hard to beat Peg 2, because that won the section yesterday with £50. But Harry Billing was on the peg to my right yesterday, I think, and he had £44, which, and all little Crassios. So I thought, great, I'll just do that. Went across the island, didn't catch anything there to start with, so I've been priming my pellet line, just catching like 5 or 6 4-mils, dead negative, thinking I'll just drop it on the bottom, see what happens. Hopefully there's a few fish there can come up off the bottom, catch some shallow like Mr. Bignell did. But as it happened, that's not been very good. Dropped in at the start, had like 2 Crassios, like one after another, but it was a bit of a wait between them. And I thought it might get better, but it didn't get better. That's the only Crassio I caught all day, them 2.
That's mad, isn't it? They've fed really
Crazy.
all week, really.
I know. It must
Satin
just be
pegs.
a load of cold rain, or they've just moved into a different area. I don't know. And I did have a little stocky carp on it, and probably after like an hour and a half, got to like £10. But no one was catching anything.
It's turned out to be all right, that, hasn't it? Really. After
It has turned out to be all right after like an hour and a bit, and then went across to the island in 3 foot, tapped 4 bits of meat in, caught 1 carp out the blue randomly. Then not a bite for ages, and then I chucked a bomb, and I had 5 and 5 chucks on a bomb, just 1 cube of meat, which was nice to be fair. I don't often chuck the rods, I try to avoid it, but I thought I'd put my hood up, and because it was proper rain at this point, so I chucked the bomb, 1 cube of meat on a size 12 Q&1, bit overgun for the size of the fish, but
overgun.
To be honest, I just didn't have any 16 set up, so I just put a 12 on, and to be fair, it was grand.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
laid on the bottom, isn't it?
Yeah, it's laid on the bottom. Them hooks are mega, so I knew if I hooked one of them big carp, I didn't want to risk losing it. I felt like if I put the 16 on, truthfully, if I hooked one of them sort of like 8 to £10 carp, which would be massive in the section, didn't want to lose them. So I stuck that on, chucked it a few more times, that didn't go around. Then eventually, sort of the second half of my match, I've had like 3 carp down my left-hand edge, just kindering a little medium guru cad pot of micros in like 3 foot away from the bank, single cube of meat on the hook, and I've had like 2 better carp and a small carp out of the blue, sort of whilst resting it. You're going to drop on it, you get indications and get one, but you wouldn't get another. So it's just a case of like resting it. And then across, with 2 hours to go, Nathan Watson opposite me, he's potted some ground bait on 2 islands. But we're all fishing to the same island, so it's no surprise it fishes so hard on there.
No, it is a very small width lake,
It's yeah, like it felt like we're only fishing like 4 metres apart. He's had a much better day than me on that sort of ground bit line, shallow water. He fished maggots in ground bit, exact same as me, sort of in like 18 inches of water. I've started and like foul hooked a few to start with. I replumbed up and went and started slightly shallower water, and then I've ended up getting 1 foul hooked, which I got in luckily, a little ghosty.
Always a lucky man, aren't you?
I know, very lucky. And then I got 2 in the mouth, which was nice, and then 1 down there to finish. So not a lot of bites, but a lot of chopping and changing, resting. I did have to feed quite a lot of ground bait on that Arlington to get them to come in.
Does seem key on there. They've got to be rotate your match. And
I think so. You got to nick fish
here.
from all over, and I set so much gear up. My gear's everywhere. I've put your shoe in the shot that I've set the GoPro on.
There's no difference there.
It's a bomb site. So excuse that. It was a bit of a rush this morning. But yeah, ended up winning the section, which was fantastic. So
brilliant performance. It is a good performance from there because 2 has dominated for.
Yeah, I feel like it's a nice result that today.
And you've had Mr. Callendix next year.
Yeah, he's had a shocker, bless him. It's just been terrible there. To my left, he's had £8 and a man of his calibre.
Yeah.
He's tried everything today. I've watched him. He's fished brilliantly and just had no bites, unfortunately for Callum. But I've had £37. Lovely day, won the section, so we're back in the race a little bit. I feel like
both of us are well up there now.
Yeah, I feel like usually if you can get 4 wins, you're going to be right up there at the top of the festival. So I've still got the opportunity to.
Oh, definitely.
We'll try.
Most importantly, top 24, isn't it, to get into the final?
Yeah, that's the aim actually. Yeah, trying to get.
We're thinking if you can drop 3 or 4 points, aren't we? So at the moment you've only dropped 1. So
yeah.
We're well in the race.
Yeah, well in the race. It'd be nice. I think the way it's fishing, some good anglers are going to bomb out purely because of the pegs, and it's just
and the tough sections.
Very tricky and very good anglers in certain sections. You might have like Andy Bennett one side and Mike Williams the other. It's just like
ridiculous.
Yeah, brilliant standard. But yeah, good day. I'm hungry.
Second day.
Very hungry.
I know. Shall we get on with some food?
Yeah.
On to day 3. I'm on Python. Where are you?
I'm on
Acorn Canal.
Acorn and Canal. Hopefully, when you hear from me in the morning, I'm waking up like this and like the end peg on Canal comes out.
Yes, although they have been swimming about, so we don't really know where you want to
go.
go.
No, to be fair, that's been patchy as well. So we'll just
you never
wait
know.
And see.
But on to day 3. Well done, Rob.
Thank you, and you. 3, the Preston Festival. The draw's out. Where are you?
I am on 29 on Python.
Yes.
It's a good area, to be honest.
Good area of the lake.
The fish tend to have settled in the middle of the lake recently.
You've got a tough section, haven't you?
But I've got a very tough section with Ben Dales on the end peg 36 and Johnny Jowett next to him on 35. Both on 3 points, so winning a second. Yes. So that'll make it interesting at the end result. But I'm fairly confident.
I think you can still have a good result there.
I think the wind changes, so it does blow into them mid-afternoon from today.
Right, okay.
But I think I've still got a chance of winning the section.
I think you've definitely got a chance of winning the section. There's some carp there across the catch.
Yeah, exactly. There's not been as many fish as there was last week early on.
Yeah, so I think you'll be all right there.
And they've got less room now, haven't they, in the end?
Yeah,
so
it's tight.
Dominate as much.
It's tight. I think if you can catch 40 to 50, £40, you'll be up there in the section, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd like to try to catch 40, 50, yeah. That'll give me a good chance. How are you?
I've drew peg 3 on Canal, which had £300 on the first day.
So yesterday only had £30.
Had £30, so we'll have to wait and see. It's obviously the best lake on the complex at the moment, isn't it, weight-wise? So I'm chuffed to be going on there, not Acorn, because Acorn's another sort of £40 to £50 lake.
Yeah, a bit of a rotation.
So yeah, it could be a bagging day today. Well, literally no idea. We'll have to wait and see. I think I'm literally going to take mainly maggots to my peg, bit of meat. I've took 6 units of maggots, 1 unit of pellets and 1 unit of meat. So
sounds good to me.
Fingers crossed we have a day. We've both got our GoPros today.
We have.
My battery pack.
Has set me up with it.
My battery pack is dead because of the rain yesterday. So I don't know how much you'll see. You'll see a bit, but I'm going to make sure you get all the footage from this, man.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Right. Okay. We'll see you this evening for a catch up.
This evening.
Let's go. Here we are. 3rd day over and done with, Brad.
Yeah. Splendid day for both of us again.
Yeah, we've had some great luck today. Well, I don't know if you can call it luck, but we've had 2 fantastic days fishing. Yeah,
2 brilliant days fishing.
Yours
is incredible days fishing down at White Acres.
Mine was incredible.
Should we start with mine, though?
Yeah, go on. Start with yours. I've got the phone.
So, I always forget. 29 on Python.
Right.
It's middle of that bank, for those that know. There's 2 banks they peg. 2 to 18 and 20 to 36.
Yes.
Obviously them being the end pegs. My section's gone from me on 29 and then 6 pegs down to 36 with a few spaces in between. 36 is always a dominant area. It's the end peg, you've got a bit of room because they don't put 1 in, so it tends to be good. And
the end pegs are always good on Python.
Yeah,
so
just
to beat them,
because you've got more room.
You've always got your work cut out, definitely.
Yeah, and last week it was like almost unbeatable, that end, especially with the right angle. And I had Ben Dales on it today, but this week, because you were on there yesterday as well, but this week they haven't really dominated, have they? A lot of fish, some carp showing in the middle. So, to be honest, although I had Ben Dales on the end and Johnny Jowett next to him, it was a tough section, but I felt like I had half chance because I knew there was fish in between the islands and the middle of the lake. So I was fairly confident. I knew it'd be lowish. I did say I think you'd need £50-55 to win the section, but only 37 won yesterday. So I also had that back of my mind. Maybe only £40, is more than good enough. So I've set my stall out, meat short on a top 5 again, hard pellets at a full 16 in between the islands, full 14.5 touching the island on like a mud line, like 21 inches I found to pot ground bait, especially for late on, because you tend to be more confident over there than rather than your edge. And then I've set up an edge rig as well, the same depth across in that mud, just in my edge to the next pallet, just behind it, like again 21 inch, both feeding ground bait and maggots. I've had a steady day. I've also set up 30 metres pinion pellets in the deepest water.
Yeah, in case them Crassios fed.
Stuff, yeah. Started short. I've had a few indications and it's been slow, but I've had a couple of bites. But the bites I did have were all small Crassios, so it led. I started feeding that 30 metre pellet line a bit more aggressive, thinking the Crassios were in my peg. Yeah. And I've probably had 5 or 6 before I even had like one of them stocky carp. There's loads of stocky carp in there.
Yeah, there is, isn't there? I had quite a few of them
loads,
yesterday.
Like 14. They probably are a pound to like £2. There's lots of them. They fight like mad. And that's what I worked out last week when I was on there, just a few pegs to my right in the bowl, that there was loads of bites to be had short. And if, to be honest, it turns out to be a two-pronged approach, as in you can just sit on 2 lines, rotate them and have enough bites, because you're not fishing for F1s where you can just sit on a few, start a new line and get a bite. It's not like that. They tend to just sit on one line all day and you get runs of them, so you're better off not wasting time going a few lines. You're better off doing just a few things. So I've tried settling on a few. Obviously, it takes a while to be able to know what's best on the day.
Yeah.
I know meat short wasn't great yesterday, so I didn't want to spend too much time on it. So I've come straight off that. I think I had one little carp, 12, 14 ounce. But the lad to my left had 2 straight away and then that had another one. So I didn't think I'd get another run. So after probably 30 minutes, I've gone on that hard pellet line at 30 metres.
Yeah.
And I've had 2 straight away shallow, because I started shallow. I've had 2 straight away on a nice 4x8 Maggie, strung out at like 2.5 foot. It was good, but then I couldn't get another bite. Went on a jigger, couldn't get a bite. And I dropped on the bottom, I've not had a bite, so I just didn't feel like they were in my peg. I felt I've caught a couple and then...
It was like that for me yesterday.
Yeah,
you catch 2 that are in your swim and then you just don't catch another.
Just weren't there, so I soon bin that off, because normally they're there or they're not there, so I didn't want to start feeding somewhere in my peg that was just going to split fish, just like all about feeding just 2 lines. Gone across into the mud. I did feed that straight away at the start and I did see one spook. I felt like maybe I should have started there once I'd seen that one spook, nick one straight away. Because you can catch bonus carp, that's what them lines are.
That's where I started yesterday, I didn't get one, but I think some days you probably could.
Yeah, it was hot today and I felt like I could have nicked one straight away. But I probably had 2 or 3 pounds short anyway. But I've gone there, I've not had a bite. It's been loads of little, like, foul up 2 of them little stocky Crassio things. That's been rubbish. So I've like not fed that for a while and just focused on meat short, because I'd been throwing 2 or 3 bits when I'd been not on it. And I could see a few pivots. I knew there was fish there, so I felt like maybe meat is a bit better today. I've sat on that. I've had a steady 2 or 3 hours. I've kept shipping across trying to nick 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I never had one, not other than 1 or 2 of them every time. But I basically sat short for probably until the last hour. I've kept going across, like I said, but basically all short, just ticking over, catching. It did get better as the day went on. I didn't catch many more Crassio at all after that first hour. Once I dropped back in on it, there was none. It just shows there weren't any on that pellet line as well. But I've had a lovely day, ticked over, catching all them carp, pound and a half. I've had 1 6-pounder midway through, it was a bonus. And I think I've had like 2-3 pounds throughout the day on it. And then with 40 minutes to go, I didn't want to do it straight away. I wanted to leave it as long as possible, because I knew I only was fishing for 2 or 3 edge fish maybe. Try and catch them big bonus carp. I felt I needed them. The M-peg, Ben was catching some down his edge, so I felt like I had to force it. So I fed ground bait down there, and I've had 3 in the last 40 minutes.
Have you?
And also had a couple bites short in between, just resting it. I've had 3. I've had 1 minute. I've had 1 carp with a minute to go, which I've hooked and gone crazy. I don't know how big it was. I'd love to know. We're gonna have a look back at the footage, and see how big it was.
We'll put the footage over the top of this bit now.
But I think it could have been £4, and I've ended up winning the section again, but by a mere £4. So I want to know if that fish could have been costly.
Very good, well done, mate. Brilliant.
So that's been enough to win with £54. I think Ben's had £50 and Johnny's had a 40 odd.
44.
It's been close again, but luckily it's gone my way.
So you're winning the festival again at the
3
moment.
wins at the moment. I
You're
am
the only man
one on 3 wins, which is weird. We all thought you definitely need 5 wins to win, because there are only 6 peg sections. But the way it's turned out, there's some mega anglers dropped many points. So there's a lot on 2 wins in a second.
Yes.
But I think there's 7 on 2 wins in a second. So there's no room for error. But it does mean if I can win my section another 2 times, I will win the festival. That's a lot easier said than done now.
Yeah,
but that's my day.
Yeah,
3
2
days
wins and you
3.
can't get beaten.
No, I can't. So fingers crossed for 2 more lovely days. But let's talk about Rob's day.
My day. There you are. There's the camera. Let him through. Right, so I have been on Canal. Thankfully, you will have heard about that this morning. I was hopeful that it was going to be a solid day catching a load of carp, but as you might have seen the results, it's a bit patchy, that lake, so I didn't really know what was going to happen, to be fair. But I had some good info, so thanks to all the lads that sort of told me what people have been catching on there. Maggots, out and out maggot approach. I took a unit of meat, as I always take, because I just can't leave it in the van. I took a unit of 4s in case maggots wasn't working, and I took 6 units of maggots, and then basically set up, well, the peg, I'll talk about the peg first. Peg 3, you walk on the lake, there's a bridge, peg 2's the end peg, and then mine's like, it's about 16 metres wide. I've got an empty peg to my left, and then the next angler. It's pretty, the far bank's pretty bare, to be honest. There's not really...
It's a new lake, isn't it? So there's not much features.
Yeah, I feel like, to be fair, I don't know if they've redug it or what, but...
They have, yeah.
Have they?
They have, yeah.
Well, yeah, so it's just basically a bare bank with grass, but it's about 3 foot against the far bank, 2.5 maybe in areas. And I've basically set up a line in 3 foot, about that far from the bank, at a full 16 metres, holding a long kit, a long 4, right to the end of my elbows, in a bit of a wind catching my peg as well, which made it difficult, but thankfully... been a load of fish there. I did set up meat short in like 5 foot in case I wanted to come up and eat a bit closer on the slope. I thought I'll fish meat there. If meat's terrible, I can swap it to maggots. As it happened, I had a couple of looks on that line with nothing really, not even a sign. I think all the fish on that canal just seem to be over the other side of the lake. I don't know what it is, but I think every time I shipped over, I'm getting signs, indication, bites, sit short, just not a sign of a fish. Didn't even feed any bait in the edge because I just thought nothing's going to come in there. It just didn't look like anyone was catching short. No one was catching anything, to be honest. And then my match, basically, so I started short. I actually set 2 lines short, so I set up a pellet line at about 6 metres, just out the deep water. I thought, I'll just set that up, start there, rattle some 4s in.
They were catching on that really well last week, weren't they?
Yeah,
so you've got to give yourself that chance.
Yeah, I think they were, and I just wanted somewhere to start, because I knew I was going to fish maggots across, so I shipped out, put 150 mil of maggots on my maggot line, and then dropped in short for 15 minutes. Didn't give it any longer. I had 2 little tiny stocky carp like that big.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, like didn't see any of them all day after that. And then shipped across. And to be fair, the first hour was pretty slow, and I caught like a couple of small carp, 1 big unit about £14, which saved me. And unfortunately, because yesterday's rain was that bad, my battery pack didn't survive yesterday. So I've only got an hour's GoPro footage to play. So you won't actually see me bagging.
Sacking them up.
No, it was great late on. I wish I'd got that on video, but unfortunately the rain literally broke my battery pack yesterday, so I'm going to have to try and sort that out tonight. But yeah, caught a few, and then it just got better and better, and all I was doing was feeding a large guru kinder pot full of maggots with 4 live maggots on the hook. I was just shipping out, dunking them in, like try not to make too much noise. I started by like with the sort of the closed lid on with like 1 hole down the middle, and I started tapping them in from a little bit of a height. And the first 2 or 3 fish I just foul looked, and I thought, totally wrong. Like a few little weird signs. So just straight away, just come back, took that lid off and put the lid with just a little rim on it.
Stops
that was miles better. And I just sort of tipped my pole and tried to be as quiet as possible and just sort of tapped them out. So there was as little noise really as possible. I think them carp just respond to that noise, especially them little ones come rushing in your peg. So, and that's been basically my day, just all day on that line. I've had a couple of looks short late. And yeah, it's been fantastic. Proper enjoyed it. I had some second half of the match. Most of my fish have been £5 to £10, which is
awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
To say it's a new
fishing.
lake, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's amazing fishing. I fished 14 SLWG hook, mega hooks. Been pulling like this all day and never had it budge. 0.17 hook length. It's gin clear, but I don't think that fishing light would get me any more bites. I think you'd end up getting snapped.
Either, there's no point.
With carp, I just thought I'll just fish very steady, strong hook length. Black hydro, so it's nice and soft. It was good. I think black hydro was perfect because I was fishing 16. When I was hooking into them, I could give it a proper strike because got maggots on, so if I miss a bite, I can just lay it back in. And then, you know, plenty elastic comes out and I can just ship my whole pole straight back. I had a couple run me left and right, but most of them I just shipped straight back. And you only knew how big it was when you got to a top kit, so it was just like, is it going to be a £6, a £10 or 2? I was like, oh, plodding. But no, very good day. I think that's all the info about the day, but it was dead simple. If it went quiet a few times, I just put like 100 and
but still a few things that you have to tweak,
maggots on it, just to sort of give it a rest. And when you go back on it, you get another good run.
Tell us what weight you've had. Come on.
£235, Brad.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Best day I've had in
amazing
ages.
day.
Proper enjoyed it. You don't get many days like that when it's fishing.
It's like the
this
new
down here.
Belingia Whiteacres, isn't it?
I think
Let's put
so.
that
It
way.
seems quite peggy and weird on that lake, but
Awful, isn't it? No one else has had £100.
yeah, it's
today.
weird.
Maybe
I think
one person.
£40 been next best in my section, which I don't understand.
Unbelievable.
Really.
Now.
It must just be all the fish in certain areas, or there's just one way to catch them, which is across. I think some of the lads who there's a lad to my right had a bad back and he couldn't fish across, and he's only had £40. He's still been second in the section, but it just seems like all the banks, I bet, it's just undercut to hell.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they just live on that side. So, but drew a load of fish, made the most of it, thankfully, and
Won
got
the
another
whole match as well.
Yeah, won the match.
20 anglers on.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah. No
Brilliant.
one's gonna. That'll win the match every day. Or should do anyway.
Should do, yeah, pretty much.
But no, brilliant day, and I've got 2 wins in a second now behind Brad.
You are
so we are top
second,
2. I'm
yeah.
on. There's I think 6 or 7 tied on.
7, I think.
same points as me.
including You.
I've just got obviously a decent weight because of today, but
Anything can happen.
anything can happen. You could just not win again.
There's
or
people that
get
are sat
bombed.
15th, 20th on 2 wins, so
Yes.
you never know.
Fingers crossed. we have a
Fingers
good day
crossed
tomorrow.
on to day
What lakes are
4.
we on?
I'm on where you've been, Acorn and Canal.
Yes.
Hopefully get a nice peg on
If he
Canal.
draws 3 where I've been today, you'll have a right there.
Strapping. Hopefully.
yeah.
Fingers crossed as
And
well.
I'm going
that's
on
kind.
Match Lake,
Match
Holloway.
Lake, which can be peggy. It is
So
quite
that-
fair, but it can be peggy
Yeah,
in some
so
sections.
I've got 2 tough days. Hopefully, just catch a few more fish, enjoy it. But yes, we'll keep you up to date. Right, the draw for day 4 of the Preston Festival is out. Me and Brad are just about ready to go, eating some toast. I've drawn peg 48 on Match Lake. Never even seen that bit of the lake, to be honest, but I'm told it's all right. Brad was
Yeah.
on 45 last week, and
It's on a
Plenty
big point,
bites.
isn't it? So you got like 45s, they peg it quite weird. 45s on this bay, by facing into a bay. Then you got 3-point peg 19, 20 and 21.
Yeah.
And then 48s facing another arm.
there you go.
So they're a lot shallower than the open water pegs, but
Yeah,
you've got cover, you can fish to cover,
fish
you
to
can
an
get
island,
bites.
hopefully.
So you've got
Yeah.
something to work with, haven't
Yeah,
you?
I've got something to work with. I'm quite looking forward to that, to be fair. I think that'll suit
It'll
me.
suit you, definitely.
Hopefully we get some bites. I think I'm just going to take some pellets, bit of meat, some micros, probably take some maggots and casters just to cover my options on there. Catch some roach and shit if I need.
Could be fishing for £40. So
Maybe
you could catch some
£40.
roach, some skimmers on a top kit sort of thing.
Brad's drew.
Yeah, I'm not drawn great. 6 on Canal.
Definitely the right lake. Gives you a chance of a weight.
Right late, just because we were talking about, because there is that many good anglers this week, I felt like I have got a good chance of slipping up these next 2 days. So I felt like if I do get a second, I need to try and catch a weight along with that second.
Yeah. I think
Because
today
there's
you
a
can
lot of
definitely
people
do
on the
that
second.
because
So today it's looking like I could drop a point.
maybe. But
I've got Martin Rogers on
maybe
peg
not.
3, which is the peg
Yeah,
that 2
very
massive
good
weights have
carp
come
angler.
off.
He's on the peg that I was on yesterday.
And 2 as a good angler on 2.
Yeah.
And I've got Ben Sutton next to me again on 8. Now, for some reason, the fish seem to have settled in 3, but nowhere else. So
It's very strange.
Yeah,
There's got to be fish to be
I
caught.
can't
they'll
say
catch.
it's bad. I could rock up and I could catch £200 and I'll go.
Oh.
That's
They-
you
yeah,
don't
they
know
move
why,
around
but
or
it could
something.
be.
Yeah,
But
so
a good angler was on my peg yesterday and struggled really bad. So it's a weird lake. I've not seen it. It's a new lake to me, so I'm not going to get too down.
yeah,
You should go to
you
your pen,
know what
fish
you're
for
doing,
the
don't
best
you?
I can.
So yeah,
That's
fingers
the good
crossed.
thing. You don't know too much.
No, we
The
don't.
draw doesn't look too appetising.
It's not like a gimme, but
No.
I think you've still got a chance to win the section. That's all you want,
Yeah.
really.
You've got to give yourself a chance. So yeah, fairly.
Let's have a
happy
go.
again. On the right lake. Let's go.
Boom. Right, Brad. Day 4 of the Preston Festival today.
Yes.
The wheels have come off for myself. Definitely for me.
You definitely feel, I'm afraid. But you're never out of it, though. You're
No.
still up there.
You've had still a good day. Not a win today though.
Not a
still
win.
a good day though. I'd say.
Still a good day, I suppose. But as we said this morning, I was on 6 on Canal, which, to be honest, it's one
You're
of the
up
most
against it there.
unfairest sections on. Well, there isn't really.
Yeah.
2 and 3 have dominated the last 2 weeks. And I had 2 good anglers on 2 and 3, so I felt I was up against it. I felt I was fishing for third. Turns out I've got a bit on the luckier side as well, and I've ended up second with £100 on the nose.
Very nice.
£130 won. I've had a bit of disaster with my pole and all that, but turns out it wouldn't have cost me anyway, so I'm not going to moan too much about that. I would have taken a second, yes, because no one's on for a perfect score, so it still leaves me with a chance of winning the festival.
Yeah.
Have I had a win in a good weight tomorrow? But I think even if I get a good weight tomorrow, I can't catch too good of a weight tomorrow to win. Just winning and they win again, so I need to hope it goes my way if I win, but that's still a big ask. But let's talk about today. So I've caught long on the pole on maggots, pretty much. Rob put me right, thank you very much. and I've just caught along the deck in 4 foot of water.
Yeah.
A bit deeper than Rob caught, because
Yeah, a
obviously
bit off the bank.
you want a bit more depth of water because there's less fish there, less competition, so you want them to be more confident when they do come in. I've not foul hooked hardly any, so it's definitely the right thing. 4 foot, some a few a little bit deeper, and one couple a bit of shallow when the sun come out, but that's pretty much it until ticked over on that for 3 hours, and then not had a bite feeding for the last 2 hours, unfortunately. Just vanished. Big fish.
Really
I think them stockies left. They're all £3.
Yeah, a lot of stockies.
Mirrors.
Once you caught them, just.
And then that was it. Once they left, then there was the odd big fish in the peg, you could tell, but they don't want to feed unless they're in numbers, unless you're on a good enough peg, and that's what's happened. Felt like I was winning the section all day by £10-15, and then with 2 hours to go, the pegs 2 and 3 have just started catching really well. Luckily enough, though, I've mugged 3 great big things, 30 odd pound, and they've gone 100 dead total, and that's been enough for second with 130 winning and 78 third, both on 2 and 3.
Very good.
So got away with it a bit. I'd take a second. I'm more than happy that I'm not third, but it's only £30. Back of my mind's thinking could have had it. I honestly don't think I could though, and hopefully you'll see that in the footage. I have worked and just sat patiently. But let's talk about your day, Rob.
There we go.
You've been on Match Lake.
Yeah, so.
It's a tricky old lake.
Yeah.
me get
Still
out
a bit
of the
fresh, still a bit raw, to be honest.
Yes.
I've had
Understandably.
a bit of a tricky day. I've drew peg 48 on Match Lake, which it's a weird lake, Match Lake. It's like there's like half the lake's arms, which are like a bit shallower, and tend to be good, I think, when the wind's blowing in or in spring when the F1s are spawning down there. And then you've also got the high bank, which is really deep, like 9 to 10 foot. And you just feel like in them areas they hold a lot more fish, but there is still fish to be caught in the arms. In certain pegs, there's definitely fish there still.
It can be brilliant, but
it can be great.
they've just not got a lot of options if they're not there.
So I've drew peg 48, which is like, you've got loads of space, you're in an arm, the next angler's right away to the point to your left, and it comes down, and it sort of like widens to your left, and then it just gets narrower and narrower towards you. It's about 40.5 metres touching the bank opposite, about 2 foot deep. So I've never fished that bit of the lake, so I'm just sort of guessing. I've had some information off Bagger and a few others who've sort of point me in the right direction, roughly, James and stuff like that. So I've set up meat short. I thought, you've got to set that up. I wouldn't really want to feed maggots because there's lots of small roach and stuff in there. I set up meat to the island on one line to start with, and then I also set another rig up to the island to my right to start with, where I thought, right, I'll see what it's like on meat, and then I can tap meat there, I can fish pellets, or I can fish maggots. I had a bit of everything with me, basically. And I also set up 16 metres down my right edge with ground bait in about 2.5 foot. I thought I'll pop that for late, and I've got a chance of coming back with some big ones if I need it. I didn't think it was going to be great. I think there's been like a 30 and a 40 off it this week, so there's been some fish there to be caught. I thought I'm fishing for a low weight, but you've got some really good pegs in your section. Peg 13 has been dominant. 42. There's always some fish there. It's a bit wider there. So I started. The first hour was all right. I started short, didn't get any bites. Give it like 10 minutes. I might have caught a stocky or something, or lost a skimmer. I think. I thought, oh, great. So that's a good start. Then I shipped across in like it was 2 foot 3 inches, I think, touching this little fern. Tapped in like 4 bits of meat. Sat there. Got one about a pound and a bit maybe. And over the course of the first hour, I had like. I think I had 4 for like £8, 4 or 5 for like £8. Had a couple about £2.
Not a bad start then, really.
Not a bad start.
But at least
I set myself a target, £40, and if I can catch that, then I thought that's about as good as I can expect, really. And anything more is a bonus. So £8 the first hour, that puts me on track. It's like great. Next hour, I think I've had 1 fish, got to like £9. So that's brilliant. And then it was very slow, to be honest. I started another line to my left, tapped a bit of meat there, foul hooked one, came off. Fished to my right, tried just fishing hard pellets for 15-20 minutes, no signs at all. So basically what I've ended up doing is putting like 100 ml ground bait. I just mixed up some like fish mealy and with some milled expander in. So it's quite fluffy and light, not much food content in. Putting like 100 ml on that line and 100 ml there. Rotated the two. The only line I could catch on was bang in front of me against the fern. And whether it's the ground bait or whether it's just when you come off it and rest it, you drop back in, get one F1. I think I maybe got to like £15-20 or something like that going to the last hour. And then I had a couple of stockies and a big F1 short. And then I went down the edge. With 2 hours to go, I put like 400 ml ground bait in. I thought, I've got to be aggressive, try and pull some big fish in the peg. I didn't at this point. I didn't have a clue what anyone had caught because you can't see anyone in your section.
Yeah, you can't.
The pegs in my section are like on the other side of the lake basically, and behind me. And I dropped in the edge, and I've had a carp first chuck with like an hour to go, and I thought brilliant. And then I dropped back in, didn't get any bites, and they'd started blowing on my short line. So I thought, right, I've got 3 lines now across. So I've just cancelled everything else out. I wasn't getting any bites anywhere. I fished across, short, and in the edge. And I just rotated them really, and then eventually I had a little run with 25 minutes to go. In my edge, I've had 3 F1s and another little carp, and I had one fall off, which was costly as it happened. And that's I'd give me £36. Unfortunately, I've only beat 1 in the section, so disaster.
That is
very frustrating. There's been a 38 on peg 13. There's been a 39 I've pegged 7, I think. There's been a 41 from Alex James, had 41 on the other side of the island, and then behind me he's had 52, and I've had 36. So just the wrong side of the weights, unfortunately. So not a good day at the office.
Very close, but tough one to take.
Yeah.
But you're still up there. If you get a win tomorrow, you're definitely in the final, that's for sure. Even with a second,
I think
probably even third.
That's the aim now. Just try and get in the final. Obviously, it's a bit when you're up there, it's frustrating because you do get that realisation that I can't win now. Which I'm all here to win, so that was annoying. But yeah, so I can't win now, but yeah, I can still get in the final. That's the aim of the game. Top 24. I think with a winner or a second tomorrow, like Brad says, hopefully should sneak into that. And with a winner, might even get into the top 10 in the festival.
Oh, definitely.
Hopefully.
Even a second, you
I think a
probably
winner or a
could.
second tomorrow. I'll drop in this disastrous day. I've got a good weight because of my mega day yesterday on Canal.
Yeah. No, I think a win tomorrow will put you top 5, I dare say.
Probably.
3 wins a second.
Yeah,
biggest weight on them as well.
It's all over at the moment. Everyone's dropping points left, right and centre. So hopefully we've got Twin Oaks tomorrow for me.
Could be Peggy again
that'll
there.
Be Peggy. I've been on there once or twice.
To be fair, you probably want that back bank, which is more fairer.
Yeah, I don't know.
You'd love another day on some fish.
I wouldn't mind being on a load of carp on the front Twin Oaks, but then if I have to draw, I'd rather just have a fair section. It just was frustrating today. I just felt like I'm so far away from everyone in your section, you just don't know what's going on. But that's fishing, ups and downs.
It is.
Highs and lows is the real reality of it.
It is. On for tomorrow,
Where
Rob.
are you going tomorrow?
Match late where you've been, so could be
the thing
anything.
Is, where I've been today, looking back, there was you could win the section where I've been with £52. It's maybe that's a bit. If you get a bit lucky, land a carp or something, and fish a few different things, you could win it, or you could easily get decent points off it. It just if it doesn't go your way, it just doesn't go.
I do like the lake. We were having this conversation. You don't like it now, but I do like the lake. I feel like you've just got to get your head down, haven't you, and just not look at anyone else because everyone you can see aren't in your section.
Yeah.
So you just got to get your head down and just try and catch what you
Last 2 times I've been
can.
on there, I've won the section on the high bank, and the first time in the arms, it's bit me in the bum.
Yeah. Oh well. On for tomorrow, Rob.
On to tomorrow.
Well done, mate.
Final day of the Preston Festival, Brad.
Yeah.
It's actually a stunning day if you look outside.
It is very chilly.
Freezing cold though.
To start with, but it
freezing
should turn
cold.
out to be a lovely day.
Feeling better after yesterday's meltdown.
Yeah, I'm getting worse as it goes. But
You haven't drew very well today, I don't think.
Rob's
I've drew
couldn't have gone much better for him today. He's got a right.
I've drew peg 17 on Twin Oaks, which is right on the point if anyone knows it. Well, it's not quite. 16's like the old
16, 15,
flyer,
16
but 17 is a great peg. I actually drew that one
17.
last time. I was here, which is strange.
And I drew it on Monday, didn't I? So
yeah, and you won it Monday and you won. So
lovely pegs.
hopefully gives me the chance to win the section today. Simple attack, meat short and pellets long. I think maybe chuck a bomb.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty simple.
Hopefully have a nice day. It's going to be stunning weather. And you've drawn.
I've drawn 52 on match late. To be honest, probably the last peg on match late you'd want.
Yeah,
just in your own
you're
corner,
in your own little corner. It's not great, but it had £40 yesterday.
Yeah, it's never written off. I mean,
it beat me
if
yesterday.
there's fish there, you will catch them. It's because they're quite easy to catch when they're there. But apparently, anyway, so I've heard. Rob's on 48, which is like halfway down to it.
Yeah.
And he struggles, so it doesn't give me much hope. But
I think you'll be
actually know
fine.
how
I think
shallow it is.
I think you'll suss it out. I think this. I mean, Alex Humes had £41 there yesterday, so there's some bites to be had.
Yeah.
It won't be an easy day for you. You've got Johnny Doughton 7.
Yeah,
You'll catch a
toughest
few.
section again. So I feel like again I can't really win, but obviously that's the only thing you're going to go do.
Fish for your dropper,
But
and
because I've got
to win
3
it,
wins and a
even better.
second, it does put me in good position just counting them and just fishing me dropper today. But ideally I want another second to keep me one of the highest on 3 wins and a second. But if I can win, I will try to win, but I feel like I might only need £50.
You never know.
So
yeah, if you can catch £50,
sure, there's £50.
yeah, if you can catch £50, then you might win the section.
Yep, so think positive, go to me peg. Just going to fish meats, hopefully. And then not a lot else, just meat long, meat short,
Maybe some of the edge later on like you did. And
yeah, there'll be some
hope
bites.
for the best.
Well, good luck.
Might throw some casters on the top, give some perch.
Yeah, catch some
hard. £5-10 of them is massive, really.
Yeah, it is on there.
Could have helped you yesterday, but you never know. Because then you might not have got them other ones. But you never know. Let's go. Day 5, lovely day.
Let's have it. Right.
Final
day is over and done with. Preston Festival. We'll talk through the results. You're going to go first because you've got the best result of the two of us.
We're going to go through my day as well first.
Yeah, go through your day today first.
So, as we said in the morning, the draw was pretty total opposite.
It was dull for you, to be honest. It wasn't great.
Yeah, it was pretty dull. 52 on Match Lake, which is called Polwyn Lake.
Yeah.
Don't know why they call it Match Lake. It's always weird.
I don't know. I think it must just be from
maybe just
years ago.
The first lake, maybe.
Yeah.
It does look old. It's a great lake, to be honest. Me and Rob were having a great conversation the other day. To much of Rob's disagreement, but I said it was one of my favourite.
No, to be fair, I was just grumpy because I didn't have a good day. It is a cool lake.
It's an awesome lake. Well, you pretty much can just get bites on every line. You always got something to work with. And obviously if it's for you or not, but I like to just fish my own match and get my head down and get the best out of your peg without letting anyone else's match dictate yourselves. So on that lake, it's all very quirky. Your sections are from that end of the lake to the total other end of the lake, aren't they? So they're very...
All the pegs are different, aren't they, really, which is quite nice.
They split them up and... Yeah, it's all very weird. So you're just going to get your head down, fish a nice match and hope for the best. So that's why I like it. And it does suit me. A lot of meat fishing, hard pellet fishing, lots of big carp as well, which are a bonus fish. Because you only tend to be fishing from anything from 40 to 70 pound a good point. So some days you can fish ridiculous and catch well over 100, but on average, especially in the section where I've been in the arms, 40, 50, 60 pounds a great weight. Yeah, so 52. It's been a struggle all week, especially last week. I think there has been a few more fish moved into the arms this week, mainly because of the pressure maybe, but because of the temperature of last night, we even had a frost in with us.
Yeah, it was night. On the van this morning. It was like icy.
And obviously it's a lot shallower down the arms, so I felt like they'd have pushed out of that, especially because of that. So I wasn't too pleased. Although, like you say, you've got no one to look at. We had a tough section, of course, as always, but I just felt like I got to my peg. Basically looked like I was pleasure fishing because you do get a lot of room in them arms.
You do get loads of
space.
So
just get my head down and try and get the best out of my peg. It's actually been a lot deeper than I thought. Probably 4.5 foot short, which, to be fair, I was expecting like 3.5, maybe 4 if you look. It's probably been 5 foot in all honesty.
Really?
It's been a bit weird. It's been like right in front of me. We'll try and put a photo up if we can of the peg because I've got one. But there's like right in front of me. We've
got the video, haven't we? We'll just put some video of it.
Oh yeah, we have. Yeah. Yes, of course. So there's right in front of me. Feels like it's like 5 foot, and then it shallows up into the arm. Whether that's because they never get none of them pegs ever go in. So maybe all the bait does go in onto that peg. Eventually, they dug it in over the years. It's probably 6 inch shallower. 6 inch shallower in the arms. So I've put 2 lines in short on me. One in 5 foot, one in 4.5 foot, like 13.5 meters down into the little spit to see if there was fish that way. Maybe I'd catch them late on if it was really hard, closest to the fish hopefully. But I always feel like with them sort of pegs, there's at least some resident fish to catch. Yes. And you're the only one fishing for them. So I sat there and I thought, surely, I think Alex had 41 something pound off it the other day as well. So there is some fish there to catch. But I heard he had 2 big bonus carp, which was half of his weight. So I was like, maybe there's not as many bites as everyone's saying there could be. But I felt like surely there's 50 pounds of a fish to catch. Obviously, if you have an ideal match, which very rarely happens in fishing. But I've got my head down. I've started short on meat. I was going to start dobbing. It's been hot, bright and flat calm today. So conditions weren't great at all. But I felt like I might catch some dobbing. And then if the sun did come out proper like it did, I might mug the odd one if I'm lucky. And it is something I enjoy doing because they could be a lot bigger as well. And when you're fishing for a low weight, it could be massive. So I've started short and I've sat there probably 10 minutes. And to be honest, I was losing a bit of hope even after 10 minutes because in the back of my mind I'm thinking I'm going to really struggle here. And anyway, it's just gone a little dink, and as I've looked back, I've been looking away for whatever reason, and I've looked back and gone, that's not sat right, and then went dink again, so it must have dinked.
When you didn't see it?
Yeah, and it dinked, it's like dinked under, and it took me like a millisecond to go, got a bite, so I've struck, and it's like giving me a head shake, and I'm thinking, that's a carp, and I'm fishing really light today, I'm fishing like 012,
just to try and give me that little bit more of an edge, try and get some bites. And that's been like a £4 carp after like 10 minutes. I've gone 10% my weight maybe.
Yeah.
Like, it's mega. I dropped in. I was
£10 carp?
No, £4 carp.
£4.
10% of my weight.
Yes, £40.
So I was like, maybe there's a few of these about. So I thought I'd go back in, and I had a bite for another 10 minutes, 15 minutes, refed. I did get a little liner after that third refeed. I was like, there is some fish here.
Was he sat there for like 5?
Yeah, so I sat there for another 10. So I fed like 3 or 4 bits again.
Didn't feed again till?
No, sat there for 10 minutes, probably 10 minutes. Didn't feel like 10 minutes, but I looked at it, oh God, better refeed. So refeed again. I never had a sign that time. You know, sometimes you get some pimps and that sort of thing. Never had any signs. And I've refed, and literally as I've lowered it, I've had a pimp come up in a little liner, like a little touch. I thought, there is some fish here. And unfortunately, that never went for another 10 minutes. I thought, I won't sit any longer, because it's so easy to sit there for an hour.
For ages,
So easy, and I'm like, I can't waste time. So I've got £4.50 after half an hour, and I'm still thinking this isn't bad. I know I've had 2 signs of some fish short in the deepest water. That's not a bad sign. Normally, if you catch it early, you will catch a few late.
Yes.
And to be honest, the plan was, after speaking to Rob that was in just the next peg round yesterday, it was get to like 25. I was thinking £40 could be mega with that hot bright condition.
Yeah.
That wasn't until I saw a couple of fish starting to move about and wanting to feed in that hot weather. But at this point, I was thinking £40 could be mega. So I've literally just gone, catch £25 with 40 minutes to go, which is nothing really, especially when you're catching some carp. And you could quite literally drop in short and catch 5 fish the last half an hour, because it does happen, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
And then I've seen like a shadow. I don't know what I was doing at this point. I think I might have still been sat short. I'm just about to come off it. I've seen a little shadow cruising past. I'm thinking, what's that? Anyway, so I picked up a little dobbin rig, just changed it down to 2 foot, flicked a little piece of meat, and I was like, something moved, and I'm like, I couldn't really see it. It looked like a little small F1. I just saw a little brown figure. And I've seen it again, and I've kept flicking it. It's like, kept trying to make a little bit of noise. And I've plopped it, and I've seen it move, and I felt like it was going for it, which is a bit unusual, because if normally mugging on there in that hot bright, they're not muggers. They don't want to feed. It's back end of the year. They're just up there because they want a bit of sun, and they've had a lot of pressure. So they are always tricky to mug. And as I flicked it, it's turned. I'm thinking, it might go that. And it took a few seconds, and it just went a little dink, and I struck. And another head check, I thought, maybe there was a fish beneath that. But I still think it was just that fish. Anyway, got it in. It's like a £9 carp, and I was like, wow. Even when playing it, I didn't think it was that big, and it popped up literally there, and I've netted it.
Big
and I'm
boy.
like, oh wow, that's like massive. Got like £13 after 30 minutes, 35 minutes. I'm like, well on track. Obviously, I'm not on track bites wise, but I've been lucky with a big bonus carp. So I thought, I don't need to like push anything anymore. And then from then on, I've literally had a rotating match. I've dobbed 2 up the bank and mugged another one. And I've dobbed 1 up to the island. I've had 2 on a bomb bread to the island. I think I mugged another 1 in mid-match. I've ended up mugging 3 fish. The other 2 weren't quite as big, probably. I can't quite remember. I think I had 1 more carp and maybe another F1 big one. The carp was only a couple of pounds. And then, so I've had 3 dobbing, 3 muggers, 2 on a bomb bread. Don't think I ever dropped back in short. I want it to leave it as long as possible. I don't want to drop in on it. I want to make sure I get that run late on.
At the end.
Whether it's an hour to go or 20 minutes to go, even 5 minutes to go and catch. You know, if it's going to be hard, I want to get that run. I feel like when you drop in on it, you always disturb it a little bit.
Too early.
I've been throwing casters on like a top kit +1, for some perch, or some, if it was that hard. And I've dropped in and I've had an F1, so that was brilliant. And I've had a perch, probably £1.
Oh, yes.
And then that was pretty much my match, just very rotating.
Did you catch anything late at all?
And then, with an hour to go, I was a little bit rushed out, and I felt like I had nowhere to go. And I thought, right, I'll drop in on it a little bit earlier than I thought, but I could see a pimp or 2. And I did set up an edge, but I wasn't very, because it shallowed up, I was like, I feel like there's enough fish to get a run short. I didn't really want to force an edge and split me 3 lines, because I still had that 30-metre meat line in trap where I hadn't fed yet. And I'm confident to get a bite on it. So I thought I'll drop in short, maybe nick 1 or 2, and then if I have to, I can go and nick 1 or 2 there if I don't get that run. I've dropped in, and it's been brilliant. Pardon me. I've probably had, I'd say a good 15, maybe £20 in probably 20 minutes on that.
Wow.
It was lovely, to be honest. I've had another carp, probably £6. Another one £4, I think, and I can't remember what else I had. I think I might have had a stocky carp and like 3 or 4 F1s, whatever I had. I was just getting bites. It was lovely. It's like
Happy
one of the
days.
first little bit of runs I've had all week, really. And I was like, this is brilliant. And just before, actually, I'd stood up and had a wee, or I got a new top kit or something. I spoke to JJ on 7, which is right behind me. I shouted over, and he had £60, and I probably had £30 at this point. And he had £60, and I was like,
oh dear.
Because I felt like I was fishing a great match. And I must say, I wish I never asked now.
Yeah.
But I didn't let it bother me. I felt like, look, this morning I'd have taken a second, even a third if I had to. I didn't want a third, but even if I got third, I wouldn't have been that annoyed with myself. But I felt like I'm still fishing for second. I'm fishing a great match. Forget about it. I might even catch him up. And that's when I've been getting that run. And I'm thinking, maybe I can. I looked at my clock. Maybe I can catch him up. And I've had a great run. I've had like 20 odd pound probably. And I think I've only had one or two like the last half an hour. I've started that new lineup, had one straight away. That just petered out for whatever reason. Felt like if I had dropped in it with half an hour, I felt like I'd had the same run. And then felt like we always do, should have dropped in on it earlier. But I feel like it always dies.
Yeah.
Around that time of the match when you're finishing, I feel like it's just about to die. So I think every time you think that, I think you're probably wrong. It would just die out, especially on meat. I feel like meat, once you start building the peg, it doesn't get eaten, but you have to feed to get your next bite. So eventually there's a build up of bait, and then eventually there's not enough fish coming in, and I feel like it just kills it. So the weird thing is with me, you've got to try and get a run of fish on the least amount of bait possible, especially when you're catching F1s. But yeah, another brilliant run. Got me well up there. Didn't really know what I had, but I had one or two more last half an hour, and that was it. I've ended up with £64, which was second in the section to JJ, but also second in the lake in the Super Pulse. That was brilliant. JJ's had £76. Sounds achievable, but unless it was a few more bonus carp, which I've not missed any muggers, I've not missed any proper bites short. I've literally felt like I fished a perfect match. And to be honest, speaking to everyone's surprised at that weight from that peg. I feel like I've fished well, got lucky, some carp have come down, and I felt like I've caught them. Obviously, you can't catch fish if there's none there. There's obviously been some fish arrive. I just felt like I fished a nice match. And although it's only £12 away, I felt like I don't deserve to have that sort of weight. I think JJ's fished a nice match from there, clearly, to catch that. It's a good weight, but he's had that weight similar a few times, so he was always going to catch that if it was fishing well. But second on the lake as well, you can't beat that. So
second in your section.
That leaves me with 3 wins and 2 seconds.
Very good, consistent week.
And that left me 4th in the festival.
Oh, hey!
So another brilliant result after winning last week and 4th this week, both with 120 anglers on. It doesn't get much
Very
better.
impressive, mate. And that's obviously earned you a place in
the Parkdean
tomorrow's Parkdean Masters final.
£15,000. And what's even better is a 4-man section.
For £1,000.
The winner gets £1,000. So
that's a bit mad.
That'd be lovely as well. But that's why we're in the lodge, being boring people. For
yeah, we are.
We are just about to get some gear.
Sorting some bait out. Yeah. Riddling some maggots. And we're going to tie some rigs, I think.
Because Matt's not here, aka Dad, so we're allowed maggots in the lodge tonight.
Yeah, we're allowed maggots in the lodge
sorting
tonight.
them out, sort some rigs out, get some top kits in eventually. Probably won't go to bed. But the draw's a little bit later, so hopefully we can have a good day tomorrow. But on to Rob's day.
My day. Go on, I'll pass you the camera.
17 on Twin Oaks, wasn't it?
Yes. Well, I've had a bit of a mare today because I've drew one of the best, well, definitely the best area in Cornwall, you could say. I've drew 17 on Twin Oaks, which is right on the point. If anyone knows the lake, it sort of goes up in a straight and then bends around at the top. And peg 16 is like the typical flyer that's been there for like years.
Yeah, 15, 16
16
probably better, aren't they?
But the dominant area. And then, but 17 is right on the edge of them, I think. And you're in the area because 16 is not pegged. So it's pegged 14, 15, 16 out and 17, 18 in. So really fancied it. I actually drew it on the last day of the Spring Festival I was here and won the match with £150. So I was like, great. I couldn't have really drawn. If I'd picked a peg, probably would have picked that or 15, to be honest. Or peg 2 on that lake as well. So really looking forward to it. I felt confident. I basically thought I needed a win today to get me in the top 10. I felt like a second or third might sneak me into the final. As it happened, I think I needed to be second to get into the final. Bit of a giveaway. I've ended up 13th in the festival, so I made it to the final. So that was a bit of a relief. But yeah, onto the match. I basically set up meat short. I caught on that last time. I felt like there's some massive F1s in Twin Oaks. They're like, well, they're all £3 basically. I've clicked some in the net at like £2. There must have been £2.5, £3. It's amazing fish. They're just hard to catch. Set up meat short, pellets long, 4 mils. Just loose feeding with a catty, nice and steady, and tapping a few with a pot. And I set up an edge rig to my left, but I didn't. All the banks are like proper fell in, and
they have, haven't they? I was on that early in the week, and the edges were weird, weren't
all
they?
eroded and fell in. So I just set my rig at like 2 foot, 2 and a bit foot, come off the bank a little bit. I thought, if I need to, I'll pot some micros. I didn't expect to catch in it. They're so moody and hard to catch in the edge there at the best of times. Even though at the end, if you chuck a bit of handful of bait at your feet, it comes straight in on it, like 10 pounds. Just tail
it's
up.
ridiculous, isn't it?
It does your head in. But I thought, Nathan Watson, he was on peg 15. He fished in the edge basically for the last hour, which was quite nice because he didn't get a single fish. I think he hooked one and one blondie and one carp and lost it. So I thought, well, I was watching him. He didn't catch, so I didn't need to use it. But I set it up, threw a bit of meat there throughout the day and potted some micros on it. And then I set up a bomb, a waggler and a feeder for across the far bank because there's a lot of carp in that area generally and you can catch on a bomb. So the match started. I started on meat short. I just tapped in like 4 bits, dead negative, and sat there for like 8 minutes. Didn't go under. Had another feed, and after like 15, 20 minutes, it hadn't moved. No indications or anything. I'm looking around, and the lads either side of me, Jeff Valance to my right on 18, he got one on a bomb, and then Nathan got one on a bomb as well. I thought, right, came in off the pole, chucked the bomb out, and basically for the next hour, I've just chucked a bomb and meat and bomb and bread. I've tried them both along the bank, getting an odd line of no bites. And I was like, just go around with a carp, but it didn't go around. I was like, it's going to fish hard because obviously we had a hard frost. Well, not a hard frost, but the first frost of the year.
Frosty enough, wasn't it? It
Frosty enough.
A lot different since the earlier
windscreen
week.
wipes on, it just went. I was like, no. So yeah, came off that and I went on my pole line, and the next hour was my best hour of the match. To be honest, I caught a carp about £7 and maybe 6 or 7 big F1s on literally fishing like a little 6mm pellet. It's probably more like a 5mm. I just had some hookers and then just tapping like 6 or 7 pellets, sitting and waiting, flicking my rig in. I fished a light rig, 4x12s with like a bit of a tapered shotting pattern just to so I could keep laying it in. I got a couple as I just laid it in, it settled up and I got one, and I think they're just watching your pellets falling through. And then it went a bit iffy, and to be honest, the middle part of the match, well, for the rest of the match, it was rock hard. Had an odd indication and an odd miss bite on pellets, but every time I went on a jigger, I just didn't get anything. I caught one carp randomly halfway through on a jigger. I think there's some little crassios in the peg, or maybe little roach plucking at the pellets. It was weird. You could tell it wasn't fishing very well. I think it was flat calm all day. Beautiful to be out, but just terrible fishing conditions. And then I had, with 2 hours to go, I chucked a method, and I had 3 in about 20-minute spell, and I was like, probably should have chucked that early. Really, I think looking back, I probably could have spent a bit more time on the method feeder today, rotated my lines and chucked the method a few more times. It's just one of those things. I'm so confident fishing the pole. I know when I've got fish in my peg, I'm confident about catching them because it's what I do more often. But I think it's one of my weaknesses, really, not fishing rod and line enough. And when I've chucked it today, when I've got it smack like that far from the bank, you get a bite within a few minutes, but you obviously have a few chucks where you don't get a bite. It's easy to waste time in it, that's the thing, and I was like, I don't want to miss my run on pellets or short on meat, because I know that's where Brad caught most of his weight on Monday. And then I think in the last hour of the match, I had a bream down the edge, I had a carp short and a couple of big F1 short on meat. Didn't have any run shallow. I kept feeding it. I didn't go mad with it because I thought, no, I'm not getting enough signs on the bottom to really justify just like brain it with pellets. But I thought if I just keep chucking a few in, maybe if I get 1 or 2 on a jig, I'll start feeding a bit more. But it didn't happen. Didn't get a run short. I just needed a few more fish from somewhere. I did lose a couple of fish. I lost a carp, probably 5 or 6 pounds short, which was very annoying. It was fighting dead weird. It was like I hooked it and then played it around for a bit and had it under my feet, but it was just pulling so hard, and then it had one more run and it just came off. I was like, no. Anyways, I've ended up weighing £67, which was all right, but sadly, Alex Humes had £75 on peg 12. He's had a few, I think he's had 2 or 3 big double figure carp, so fair play to him. Well done, mate. You'd won the section. And then the rest of it's been hard. There's Jeff had 30 odd pounds to my right, and then Nathan had 29 pounds to my left. So £67 isn't a bad weight, I think, for the area, but I do feel like I should have won the section there today, really. It's a great peg. Just a slightly different match. A perfect match would have won the section there, I think. But it doesn't matter. Ended up coming 13th overall in the festival. A win would have been lovely because I think I would have snuck in maybe the top 7 or 8, I think, would have win.
So what did you end up with?
Yes, I had 2 wins, 2 seconds, and then I dropped a 5th. Which
A
is,
5th.
yeah, if I hadn't had that drop, if that drop had been a 2nd or 3rd,
You'd have been well there, wouldn't you? Yeah.
I would have been 8th, 9th, or 10th, I think. So I think Des Ship was last in with 22 points, which is what I had. But he was dropping
a 2nd maybe.
3. Yeah, 3rd.
Might
I
have
think he
2
was
wins.
dropping.
Oh yeah,
I
maybe
think he was dropping a 3rd, Des. But yeah, in the final. So to be fair, that's the aim of the game on this one.
It
That's
is
why
the
we
aim of
come
the game.
down. Absolutely made up. So we've got the final on Jenny's tomorrow. Don't know what it's going to be like. Got a
Yeah,
clue.
we're both not very good people on there. We've never.
Well,
have you ever fished it?
I've fished it.
Oh, you
once
fished it a
in
few
winter.
times. Yeah, I've fished it once.
Once in winter. I think it's going to be like maybe hard pellets on the long pole for crassios up and down. Maybe an odd carp, an F1. Probably meat short. The only other thing you can do is throw maggots. But I think meat short will give you a chance of catching a few more carp. If you're on an area like 11 where you can reach the island, you can tap some meat maybe. It could be
Yeah, we're thinking that, aren't we?
bit of method feeder fishing and definitely some edge fishing for big carp.
Hopefully it goes our way in the draw.
Be nice.
There's a few areas
Get
we
a
want.
couple of good pegs tomorrow.
11 and 21 is what we know of, but we don't know about the other bank.
21's the end, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got a bit of room as well. The peg to its left's not even in. So you never know, but we don't know it well enough.
But hopefully you guys enjoyed the little vlog. We've tried to keep you up to date throughout the week. Loads of good match footage. I don't think we've had any disasters either. The last one with Monk Hall, between
Not
you
quite,
and Chris,
yeah.
was you were snapping things left, right, and centre.
Left, right, and centre. Double figure fish going back into the lake and
Yes.
everything.
This is what we've been using this week, so I'm going to get the footage off it here. We're going to do a bit of gear, aren't we?
We are, eventually.
Yes.
Maybe.
Take some rigs off Top Kids, tie a few rigs so we're prepared. Then go to bed and wake up bright and early and hopefully draw a fly in the morning. Hopefully you enjoyed that video. I've just got home and I'm running through how I actually got on in the Parkdean Masters final, which me and Brad might have just touched on. So if you want to check that out, that'll be in a video coming very soon on the main channel.
Bet you thought that would end, didn't you? It's not, is it?
No.
They can get more if they want to, can't they?
Yeah, they can. They can go. Where can they go?
You can go to the Catch More Media channel membership area, can't they?
They can. How much does it cost?
$4.99.
How much do they get?
A lot.
A lot. How much is on there?
60 videos.
And 16 live matches.
Yeah.
Check it out, folks. You
So
won't
if
forget
you
it.
want even more from us, get over there.